welcome back to the NMP. This is episode 8. I'm Mike Field.
I'm Noel Danila.
NMP covers all the interesting articles that we find across the all-glorious internet.
Oh, down to the internet gods.
With that being said, I'm going to jump right into this alien topic. So, everyone's familiar with Edward Snowden, who is the guy who leaked NSA files and fled the United States and was living in China. He was living in Russia. I don't know where the hell he's at right now, but he's in some place where he can't be extradited.
He's still one.
Essentially. And people like him because he just keeps dishing out new documents and whatnot. But he has a theory. Where is that? Fermi? Fermi?
Aye. Let's go with Fermi. That sounds right.
Fermi? Sure, we butchered it probably. But this paradox, which is explaining why the universe is so old and big and all that kind of stuff and why we haven't heard from aliens yet. So, Neil deGrasse Tyson loves theories and all that kind of stuff. I didn't watch this video, but he's in it at about 30 minutes in where the relevance of the article kicks in. But Snowden believes that we can't decipher the alien communications because they're encrypted. Which makes sense because we encrypt everything so that other people can't read it. But things that we send out into space are not encrypted that we know of, to our logic. But they beam these radio frequencies out all over the place hoping to find something. So his theory makes a lot of sense for the fact that they're just slightly more politically correct and advanced than we are, so that you can't, if we were to find something, we wouldn't even know that we found something, basically. That's how that goes.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Encrypted it is.
These days you can encrypt your cell phone. That way if you lose it, nobody can touch it, kind of thing. We encrypt everything. And it's all in the matter of keeping things protected. So if aliens don't want to communicate with us or don't want other aliens communicating with them, kind of thing, they would encrypt it. And that makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. And it's an interesting concept because nobody even thinks to think of this.
Yeah, so there's a little blurb in here that says, so what we're hearing is actually an alien television show or phone call or a message between their planet and their own GPS constellation, whatever it happens to be, is indistinguishable from to us from cosmic microwave background radiation, which is stuff that is just constantly going on. So it's at that same
wavelength.
Yeah, wavelength or underneath it, so that it's undetected. So
that's a crazy thought. It really is. I mean, especially for the conspiracy theorists out there, they're thinking there's all kinds of things that point to that there is alien activity, whether here on Earth or that we've contacted aliens before, kind of thing. And the fact that they could be around and communicating with each other, and we have no idea because of something as simple as encryption. It's so simple. I feel dumb for never thinking it myself, but yeah, it's obvious. It really is.
Mm-hmm. And the thing that kills me, it's you can decrypt. Human beings know how to decrypt other human beings' shit.
Yeah, because we know what we're looking for.
Exactly. So, if they realistically are doing this, you wouldn't even know where to start.
No, you'd be boned. It's
impossible. That's being English speaking, way back in the day, and then meeting the Native Americans, and if they had were advanced back then, with how it is today, encrypting shit and doing whatever,
Yeah, something as simple as hieroglyphics.
Yeah, you don't...
we don't have a straight translation. We have predictions and guesses.
Yeah, but people who carried certain pieces of it around.
We don't have a dictionary of everything that's 100% accurate. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of it's just guesswork. So something even more advanced like alien technology encryption, I can't even imagine.
You don't know the language. You don't know...
Yeah.
I love how that we assume numbers is key for everything.
I mean, it could be something as simple as
our
color.
Our binary is 1 and 0s, but they may have something that's similar to binary, but it could be
black and white,
9 and 8. Like, you don't know.
yeah.
Everyone starts with different things. You know, technology as we know it revolves around mathematical equations, but to them, they could be beyond that and then have the ultimate encryption aspect.
Ultimate encryption.
UE.
Yes. That's what the kids call it, the UE.
Ultimate encryption.
The ultimate quest for the UE.
Gotta find the UE.
Yeah.
No, it's a good theory.
I can buy it. I'm buying what he's selling.
Shut up and take my money.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's. I don't know.
Speechless.
Yeah, that stuff.
Speechless.
That stuff really fascinates me, in the whole aspect of we find new shit every day, but we keep finding things in the wrong places.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, we found another Earth-like planet. It's a cousin. Be like, okay, well.
Most of it's by accident too.
Yeah,
and it's going to have to be. We have no idea where to look.
No,
we have no idea what we're doing.
The sky's too huge, dude.
It's too big. Too big. There's all kinds of other alien conspiracies that go into all kinds of weird stuff. But something as simple as alien encryptions, I can see that. I mean, they could fly around the Earth, encrypted data, sending stuff off of our satellites. Like what was it? The movie Mission Impossible. They were bouncing a signal off our own satellites in that movie. We had no idea, like, even in the movie, now that I think about it, they had no idea what it was because it was encrypted until that one cable guy was like, I cracked the code. They're sending signals.
Yeah. I mean, there's pictures online and, like, documents of us receiving small blurbs of something.
And we have no idea what it is.
Yeah, and there's, like, it's called the WOW picture or something like that.
The WOW picture.
Or the WOW signal. Hold on.
No, I'm curious.
I thought that it was something like that. Yeah, 1977. The WOW signal was a strong narrowband radio signal detected by Jerry R. Eman on August 15th, 1977, while he was working on the SETI project at the Big Ear Radio Telescope of Ohio State. This signal, he was just like going through the data work, and this random assortment of shit came in.
It's a bunch of numbers, but how does he even know what it means?
I have no idea. I'm not sure about that, but like if you look at everything, it's all
like
1, 6, 2, 7s, but then you have this one segment where it's 6 E Q U J 5. There's no other letters in there. So something came in back in the day,
and they have no idea what it is.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Alien encryption. Bam. It exists.
Yeah, since the entire signal sequence lasted for 72 seconds.
Huh. That is intriguing. Intriguing. More fuel to the alien conspiracy fires.
Yep. Came from...
Run wild with them.
Came from the constellation Sagittarius.
Huh. How do they trace something like that? Like, how do you know where a signal like that comes from?
The satellites listen, dude.
Well, yeah, but how do you tell direction? I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's nuts. Anyway, moving on with alien encryption, voice actors. I don't know how to segue that at all.
They encrypt their voices into the games.
Yes, they use their encryption to vocalize their performances for video games as well as movies, TV shows, all that stuff. But specifically, video game voice actors are planning a strike in order to fight for higher wages as well as royalties for games that do so well, kind of thing. If the game sells so many copies, they get royalties or whatever for their performances, and they're going on strike over this. They met with game developers. I don't know who. It just says that the union met with game developers. I don't know what ones, and they tried to come to an agreement before the strike went down. They met twice. Once in, let's see, I just had this too. Yeah, once in February, then again in June, and both times they weren't able to agree on anything. So now this talks about a strike in order to get what they need or what they want.
I completely agree with this because you catch articles all the time where, you'll find out like the best-selling game of all time had, and all the voice actors, and you look at what they made and they were paid like $200,000.
One example that they use here, the voice actor of Niko Bellic in Grand Theft Auto 4.
Oh, he got shafted, dude.
Yeah, he sold millions and millions, like they sold millions and millions of copies, and he got paid like nothing compared to what the game did and how well it did. Now, some game companies do provide some type of royalties where, like, if it does so well, they offer up bonuses to their staff, which is awesome. But one developer is actually fighting back, saying if these voice actors get, more royalties than I do for a couple of weeks worth of work, when I've dedicated an entire year and a half of my life developing this game, what makes the voice actor any better than me when I did majority of the work, kind of thing? I can see that.
Yeah, because the two go hand in hand. Without the voice actor, you don't have the proper audio, the story, but without the design, the game creator, you don't have the fine detail in the game. So the two go hand in hand.
It's a tricky situation because
to say one deserves more than the other, that's like getting hired in at a different point in time at a job, and someone's making more than you who's doing the same exact job, and you're upset about it.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
But I'm trying to compare this compared to like the way movies are these days. Like, I'm pretty sure actors get paid millions for these movies, and the people who do graphics design or sound design, I don't know how much they make in comparison, but I'm sure it's not nearly as much as said actor.
Yeah.
So it's moving back towards that way, for better to for worse. I don't know, because I'm not in the industry. I don't know the kind of things that happen in the background in terms of royalties, in terms of copyrights and that sort of thing. But it is an interesting situation. It is interesting to see what happens out of this, because there's a bunch of voice actors who are off force striking, getting better pay and all that. And there's a bunch that are just like, you know what, I'm happy with what I have, kind of thing.
Yeah. So
it's going both ways, and developers want more rights as well as the voice actors, and
yeah,
it's a messy situation.
It is. I feel like you'd be better off if you just had the luck of being a voice actor for a game that is going to get sequels.
Yeah.
Like the guy who does Nathan Drake, or like David Hayter.
Yeah. Although they gave David Hayter the shaft with the last Metal Gear.
Well, yeah. But
he's been doing it for like the last 20 years.
Yeah, like 2 decades of voice work, because he was the perfect voice for that character, and everyone loved it, and it worked, and he made money annually.
Yeah. I mean, so if a game does well enough where they make more sequels, and that's what most games are these days, is sequel after sequel after sequel. Do all those sequels add up in the voice actor's pocket in terms of making more money each time? I don't know. Again, we're not in the industry. We don't know what happens behind closed doors in terms of payments. But there's enough there to justify people saying, hey, we need to do something about it. And that alone says volumes.
I think that if their likeness is portrayed in the game as well, like in GTA.
Yeah, that's another thing that they're fighting for, because a lot of times when you do voiceover work for games, there's a lot of mocap going in along with it. Games like Uncharted, again, Nolan North does the voice as well as he does a lot of the motion capturing for those games. Like, he actually dresses up in the suit outfit, with all the little dots, and he's mocapping everything with the whole T-pose,
around and talking, and
he's doing all that. So he's putting in a much physical performance as he is
his acting
vocal performance, and not every voice actor knows that they'll need to put in that extra physical performance in. If they're strictly voiceover work, like the perfect example, the guy who does Duke Nukem, I don't think he goes in for any type of mocapping. I've actually met the guy, and he doesn't seem like a guy who does motion capture. But something like Nolan North with Uncharted, there's mocap involved, and the problem is that's not always expressed in the greatest of ways to these voice actors before the contract is made.
Yeah.
So they can be going in completely blind day one, be like, oh yeah, put on this suit and start jumping over these ledges and stuff like that, and they're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I thought I was here to do
reciting
voiceover
lines,
work. Yeah. But I can understand you would want clearer definition for those type of roles, like voiceover work strictly, voiceover work with mocap and that sort of thing. And that needs to be clearly outlined in these said contracts, and that's one of the things they're fighting for as well.
Agreed.
But other than that, it's interesting, and we'll try to follow up with it when everything gets worked out. But yeah, voice actors deserve, definitely, especially for games, radio, and all that, they definitely deserve for their performances. Like games like Last of Us.
Yeah,
excellent performance by everyone all around.
Yeah, they're the ones who made the story come to life. You know?
Yeah. But what do you got here?
Going back to encryption.
Back to the encryption days. The reason why you want to encrypt your stuff.
5.6 million fingerprints were stolen in a personal data hack from the U.S. government.
That's a lot of data.
That's a lot of fingerprint records.
Yeah.
Because it's all U.S. government employees. So
that's a lot of employees, though. The government's huge.
Oh, I know that. I'm just saying, like, data. It says clearance data on millions of Defense Department and other U.S. government agency employees got away, or had 5.6 million fingerprints taken, which is 4.5 million more than they initially reported. So,
hooray!
United States came out and basically said that they think it's China. China said, no, it's not us.
Well, of course they're going to say no. Nobody's going to admit to that. There's no country. You're going to start a war that way.
Yeah, but what's funny is that when that happened, when this happened this week, I think it was Tuesday, Obama has a meeting with the Chinese president anyway.
Yeah.
Like it was already set up. And now this is something that he's going to talk to him about.
Well, obviously, they're not going to leave, sit down and not talk about this at all. But it is a sticky situation. It's jacked up.
Basically, he's just going to tell him, like, you need to knock it off if we're supposed to be friends, because that's a breach of
trust.
Yeah, trust and friendship. You're digging through our shit.
I mean, if only we encrypted it better.
We just need to encrypt it in Latin. No one knows anything about
something
that.
As serious as China stealing that information, or any other, foreign government, whatever. That's all kinds of counterintelligence they can use against us here in the U.S. Thinking outside of that, you think like a private hacker gets a hold of something like that? That's hundreds of millions of potential dollars of valuable information they could sell to a country who wants it, or to a terrorist group that wants it, or even some Joe Smo that just wants, to make credit cards in 5.6 million people's other names, and just go out and spend it.
You could do that, or everything revolves around fingerprints and whatnot. If they could easily get in to take it, that means that they could easily get in and change it,
pretty
and
much.
then put their own people's fingerprints and whatnot, and then walk right in. Like
that information, the potential to make so much money to sell it to the highest bidder is insane. So either way, it's bad. I don't care if it's like some Joe Schmo like me and you who came across it, or some other terrorist group. There's nothing you could possibly do with this information that actually accomplish good, other than destroy it.
You could get a good
so
job.
That it doesn't.
Most U.S. hackers who find a way inside of the government stuff get hired to help protect it.
Yeah, I mean that makes more sense. Keep your enemies close, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But nobody who stole these 5.6 million fingerprints and personal data is just gonna go straight up like, hey, that information you misplaced? That was me. I want a job. Let me get a seat in that corner office over there. Nobody's gonna do that. I mean, he's gonna be hiding for a very long time. When they eventually do find him, then they'll try to strike some type of deal. Outside of that, this guy or this group or whoever it is gonna have a lot of people looking for them.
I'd say it's China as well. It's not the first time.
I'm not gonna say either or. All I know is it's bad. It's not good. No. I don't want my information out there, let alone all those people who have their information that got leaked. It's an insane amount of number.
Oh yeah.
But moving on to a happier note. Royalties and all all that, the copyrights to Happy Birthday no longer in the hands of Warner Chappell. As a matter of fact, they're not in the hands of anybody right now. It's completely free.
Only one is.
Seneco?
No. You can sing Happy Birthday or use it now in movies and everything as long as you don't use the piano-only edition.
That's interesting.
The guys got the copyright to the piano version.
Only. But
no
if
words.
you think about it, in a lot of TV shows and a lot of movies, almost everything that has a birthday in it,
they make some crap up.
They make a whole new song because for the longest time, Warner Chappell's owned the rights to Happy Birthday. So if they wanted to use said song, they would have to pay royalties.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, something a lot of places don't want to do. Something as simple as like a restaurant, they would make up their own song because they don't want to pay royalties to these guys. And they're saying that these people are now gonna lose out $2 million a year over the loss of these royalty rights.
And they said that they might have to pay back.
Yeah, there's talks about whether or not they'll have to pay back the royalty claims they've already, acquired over the years. And I don't know how long they've claimed to have this royalty right, but that's a lot of money. 2 years over a set amount of $2 million over a set amount of years. Yeah, that's gonna add up.
I would say whoever they filed against, people who used it but didn't pay for it or give royalties and they took them to court, I would say make them pay those people back.
Yeah.
For a waste of time and compensation, but if someone went through the motions and did it legally, then, it is what it is.
Yeah. It's interesting, though. It makes you wonder whether or not we'll start to see the songs
I hope so.
in movies and games and something as simple as a restaurant that you go into. Because for the longest time, people avoid it just because they don't want to pay royalty rights. And it's one of those things where it's something so simple and you're like, why does anyone make money on this?
Yep.
Something as simple as George Lucas makes money every time Android is referred to as a droid, because when he was making the Star Wars movies, he copyrighted the term droid. So now, anytime Android calls their phone a droid, LucasArts gets rights. And it's insane that people own rights to something as simple as a word or as simple as an idea or I guess songs are a little more different because,
it's creativeness.
Yeah, it's somebody, wrote and composed said song or even movie. But something as simple as a word? Come on. That's a little extreme.
Droid.
Get out of here.
Droid.
But that's interesting.
Yeah.
And where that would go. What you got here?
He ain't getting money from me. Droid.
Yeah. You know what's going to happen when you get hit with a cease and desist order?
Alright. So this article is for the future of Nintendo. And is it NX or do they refer to it as Next?
I don't know if that's the actual name for it, but that's what it's going named as now is the NX.
Yeah,
it could be something as simple as the code name. Cause
the code. Yeah.
For the longest time, the Wii was the Revolution.
But I'm just curious, is it NX or Next?
It's NX.
It is NX?
Yes.
Okay.
As far as I know.
I was not sure on how to...
Somebody will probably correct me in the comments below.
I hope. So anyway, they filed a patent and the internet seekers went through and found it. And basically, it looks like the Wii U controller, but instead of having shoulder buttons, it has wheels. And this is supposedly for, the controller for the system or the portable device. There's not a lot of information.
It's nothing but...
Yeah, it's just an art concept, basically, of what it is. And people know, obviously, it's for Nintendo solely for the fact that the patent was filed from Nintendo.
I was going to say, the company doesn't go by any other name, so Nintendo files a patent, yes, we're going to find it because it's Nintendo.
Thing. Like last week or 2 weeks ago, when I talked about the Apple patent that they filed, for the battery.
Well, everyone's always got their eyes out on Apple and their patents because everyone wants to get a jump on what's next kind of thing. Nintendo maybe not so much, but there is a lot of ideas and thoughts about the whole NX and what it's going to be, what it's going to do, how is it going to compete against the current gen consoles these days.
Yeah, the only thing that was confirmed back by Iwata was it will not run Google's Android system. He said that back in March.
Yeah, I think there was rumors prior to that it would, which is why he came out and said something like that. Otherwise, why would he just randomly come out and say that unless he wants to blatantly lie to us?
I mean, well, it's not like he can be held accountable now, you know.
I guess so.
But, I mean, in terms of that kind of stuff, like, if you're a company, you create your own software. Sony did it, Microsoft does it, Nintendo does it, Apple does it, Google does it. Like, you're better off just creating your own shit for your device because you know how it works.
That's what Apple does, and that's one of the reasons why you pay such a premium. Because they own both the software and the hardware sides of the aspect. And that's one of the reasons why they're a little bit more reliable than your generic Android phone that's got 50 billion different components from all over the place.
Yeah, and then you...
Yeah, and they slap together. And it's not saying that it's a bad, piece of tech. I have an Android myself. I love it. Yeah. I got a Note 4. But, when you control both the hardware and the software aspects of something,
it's going to run flawless.
You can make it run specifically for said hardware, and you can do all kinds of other things with it, which is why consoles, look at the last console generation with the PS3 and the Xbox 360, it is the longest running console generation ever. They refuse to die. And that's because Microsoft creates the OS and the hardware for their system. Sony does the same thing for theirs. And we're able to do so much more. And because of the ability to download and upgrade said software that is built into that hardware, we can extend the longevity of them. And they've gone on forever at this point. Like, we're slowly starting to see them phased out now. But
yeah, it's still 10 years though, man.
Yeah, just about.
The PS3 came out like 06 or something?
Yeah. Something like that. I don't know the exact date. Somebody will correct us for being dumb. But the point is, they've lasted on forever at this point. Before this generation, the average lifespan of a console cycle would be 4 to 5 years. I mean, Nintendo still sticks true to that life cycle, but Sony and Microsoft has gone way beyond that.
Yeah.
And it's insane. And it makes me wonder how long this generation is going to last with the PS4 or the Xbox One. How long can they extend that out?
And it also makes me wonder if Nintendo stays true to that because they keep effing up.
Yes.
And they're just
Nintendo
trying to play catch up.
I love you, and I love what you've done for the industry, but you have made some serious mistakes and some seriously poor decisions lately, and hopefully they'll turn it around. Whether or not they will with the NX remains to be seen, but they're not going anywhere anytime soon. I can promise you that. They've got a lot of money in their back pocket, especially after the Wii generation, and as well as the 3DS is doing these days.
And
they've
Mario
got plenty
Maker
of momentum to go.
Mario Maker is going to make millions, billions.
That's doing pretty well for themselves, but at the same time, they're playing dirty with that one, and that's a whole nother story for a different time. But sticking with gaming news, everybody loves the old school classics, and one company is hoping to bring some of that nostalgia back. They're creating something called the Pico cassette, and essentially what that is a little memory card that plugs into a headphone jack. Now, it doesn't have the said game stored on the jack itself, but what it does is it boosts signals that go through that headphone port to unlock the game itself, as well as downloadable content and save files, that sort of thing. And they want to make it so that it's versatile, where you could take it with you anywhere. Like, I could play it on my phone and have all my saved data and DLC, and then take it to Mike's phone and pick it right up where I left off, kind of thing, with the saved data, all the DLC, and be able to, take it wherever I want to go and plug it into whatever I want to play with, any, device that is compatible with said headphone jack and software. And it's interesting because the game, you still have to download onto the phone, you still have to download it onto whatever device, but it doesn't unlock until you plug it in. So it's kind of like a portable CD key kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it also gives you the nostalgia of owning a physical copy of something, I mean, that's one thing that a lot of console gamers love is owning their physical copy, their disc, their cartridge, their whatever. They can plug it in, they can play it, they can do whatever they want with it.
Let someone borrow it, do whatever.
They're trying to bring gaming back towards the whole physical media thing, and it's an interesting concept. Whether or not it takes off remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Right now, they're still in the very early stages of prototyping, and they're looking for game developers to back them and say, hey, yeah, we'll develop something for this thing.
That could be Nintendo's way of entering the mobile market more effectively.
But it's an interesting concept. Whether or not it goes anywhere, I kind of hope it does. It'd be nice to see like more physical content and physical media come back into the industry with how digital everything is these days. Mm-hmm. And I myself am a huge fan of digital content and media just because of the convenience. But there are those people, and there is that market that still love the physical media.
Yep. And
this is for them, solely for them kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's what they're shooting for.
It's an awesome concept.
Yeah.
That could bring Sega back.
I don't think anything can bring Sega back. They're too far down into the hole these days. I mean, they still make games, but...
Yeah, if they just re-release the original Sonics or something on that, dude.
Yeah, people will buy it.
For sure.
I'd buy it. No.
I own Sonic on Genesis. I own on Wii. I got too many versions of the same game on different platforms.
Yeah, I got every single Sonic game they developed for the Genesis outside of... Actually, no, I think I might have all of them.
I got Sonic 2 and Sonic 1. That's all I got.
It was great games. It was some of the best ones. Sonic 2 is still my personal favorite. But we're dragging at this point.
Yep. All right. So that's about it. Links will be in the description below. This wraps up this episode of NMP. Be sure to visit the links and read more and view the videos that we're talking about. Also, don't forget to like this video. And if you enjoyed it, click subscribe. Also, check out the website, 791zero.com, for more episodes of NMP. And then links to Frenemies Play will be on there within the next few days. You can also read the other news articles that I post on the site that do not make it on the show. So be sure to click and read them. And see you next week.